The king continued, "Therefore, my dear Brahmans, my life, wife, children, home, furniture and household paraphernalia, my kingdom, strength, land, and especially my treasury are all offered unto you." In some readings, the word dara is not used, but the word used then is raya, which means wealth. In India, there are still wealthy persons who are recognized by the state as raya. A great devotee of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu was called Ramanand Raya because he was governor of Madras and very rich. There are still many holders of the title Raya, Raya Bahadur, Raya Chaudhuri, and so on. The dara, or wife, is not permitted to be offered to the Brahmins. Everything is offered to worthy persons who are able to accept charity, but nowhere is it found that one offers his wife. Therefore, in this case, the reading Raya is more accurate than dara. Also, since Prithu Maharaj offered everything to the Kumars, the word kosha, treasury, need not be separately mentioned. Kings and emperors used to keep a private treasury which was known as Ratna Banda. The Ratna Banda was a special treasury room which contained special jewelries, such as bangles, necklaces, and so on, which were presented to the king by the citizens. This jewelry was kept separate from the regular treasury house where all the collected revenues were kept. Thus, Prithu Maharaj offered his stock of private jewellery to the lotus feet of the Kumars. It has already been admitted that all the king's property belonged to the Brahmins, and that Prithu Maharaj was simply using it for the welfare of the state. If it were actually the property of the Brahmins, how could it be offered again to them? In this regard, Sripad Sridhar Swami has explained that this offering is just like the servant's offering of food to his master. The food already belongs to the master, for the master has purchased it, but the servant, by preparing food, makes it acceptable to the master, and thus offers it to him. In this way, everything belonging to Prithu Maharaj was offered to the Kumars.